Okay, continuing with our string methods here in Python, let's now go for another method called the split. The split is pretty cool, although it will return as an object that we still haven't studied but is right around the corner. In 2 sections we'll look at it, which is the list. So let me print just the sentence that we have right now, which is Lisbon is in Portugal. If I use sentence.split and pass inside the argument of the split a blank space, what Python will do is split this sentence by the blank spaces. So it will return me a list with the different elements and the different words of this sentence. Let's see. There you go. So we have a list with 4 elements here. So lists are characterized by having the square brackets when we print them, similar to indexes. When we give indexes, although it's the same character as indexes, it's not the same, or at least it doesn't have the same function here. What lists can yield is store different objects in different positions, and these objects may be completely different, as we will see. Don't worry too much, just know that this split will give you a way of splitting the words in our sentence, which is really cool. We are not tied here to splitting by a blank space. Of course, if I split, for example, for each I, this will be a bit weird because I'll have L, then I have a I. So Python will split the sentence there, then I have S bond, and then I have a I in is. So the sentence is split across the argument that I give inside this method. If I go here and split, for example, in S bond, I'll just have 2 elements, the Li, then an S bond will come in the sentence, and then is in Portugal, which is the rest of the sentence. So you can split by any character that you want your sentences and your strings using this split. Another method that we also have is the capitalize. So the capitalize is just something that will not have any effect on our sentence right now because my sentence is already in capital letters. But if I do, for example, Lisbon is in Portugal without capital letters and use capitalize, I'll see the same here in the console. Okay, because I'm applying a capitalize, the capitalize will basically just put the first letter of any string as uppercase. Okay, 3 methods to go. I'm going to use the count, which is really cool. So the count, let me count the number of a specific character inside a sentence. For instance, if I do sentence.count and I put I, this will return me the number of I's in this sentence. And I have 3, which is exactly true because I have 1 I, 2 I's, 3 I's. Although the sentence is not the same because we're missing the exclamation mark, the sentence is the same, at least grammatically. So if I count, for example, how many Portugals do we have in there? Let's see. We have 0. Why do we have 0, you ask? Because we are not looking at this sentence. This was, of course, a trick question that I've done. We have this sentence, and in this one, Portugal is in uppercase or capitalized. So I need to pass exactly the same structure of the letters in terms of the casing, because Python, again, is not case sensitive. Remember that. So let's do a bit more experiments. For example, how many ins do we have here? We have 1. And how many is do you think we will find in this sentence? So let me run this. We have 2. Although there's only 1 word is here, the Lisbon also has another pair is. And here we are not searching for the word is, we are searching for these characters at the same time when I and S show up together in the sentence that we have. That's why here Python is looking for this one and for this one. Another cool method, which is replace. Replace is just, it does what the name implies, which is replacing something with another thing inside the sentence. For instance, first argument is what we want to replace. Second argument is what is going to take place in our sentence in place of the thing that we want to replace. For instance, here Oporto is in Portugal. I can do other cities. Faro is in Portugal. So I can do, for example, this will not make many sense, but replace every I for an X, which makes, I don't know, a weird non-readable sentence. But replace basically does that. It replaces every instance of the first string that we pass by the string that we give on the second argument. And the final method is the find. So the find will do that, give us the index of the thing that we want to find in our sentence. Now, find, for example, I want to find an I. It will give me index 1 because in our sentence, if I go here, I have Lisbon is in Portugal. So the second letter I is index number 1, and that's why Python is pointing me there. Of course, a setback of find is that it just finds the first instance of what we pass here, which is of course a big setback for this function. If we want to find all the i's in this sentence, we would have to use more advanced Python coding that I think that with the end of the course you'll have the ability to do that with no problem. So, of course, I hope this was clear, that these methods are super important. We only had one function, which was the len, and could be applied to other objects. These methods that we see right here are relevant for the str type. Don't forget that. These can only be applied for the str. I can't use a find, for instance, if I do this, my number, and I have 1, 2, 3, I can't use my number.find 1. That doesn't exist, because the int object, the integer data type, does not have this method implemented, the find. It doesn't exist for this type of object. That's why it's so important that you understand with which types of objects you are working with, because with them is how you access the methods that you can work to have these results that we are seeing right here. Okay, hope this example was pretty clear. Let's continue. Let's finish this string section, going for the exercises. Just a thing before we get there, which is formatting strings, something really common that we do here in Python. You'll understand what that means in the next lecture. I'll see you there.